How y'all doing?
Good. I just looked at the listings, and Leonard Fournette's at 228. Sheldon Day yesterday told me there's no way he's under 250. Not in an insulting way, but 228.
He looks big. He looks big on tape. I don't know his exact weight. I know he moves like he's 200, and he hits like he's 250. So he's a really good complete back.
Do you help at all this week the offensive side with any insights into the Jaguars' defense?
You know, Kyle and his staff, they're really. I mean, they're coming from Atlanta, who pretty much runs the same scheme too. So they might ask a question or two, but I think they're pretty well aware of all the things that we do defensively and all the techniques that we teach. So question here and there, but they're not relying on me.
Which credit do you take for the Jacksonville defense, the way you coached them up?
You know what? I'm pumped up for those guys. You know, over the last, there's so many people there that were there for the last 3 years, and so really excited to see those guys have the success that they're having. And it's a tribute to guys like Dave Caldwell, Chris Poley, and Gus Bradley and all them who were there from the beginning and tore that thing down and brought it back up to what it is. So. And all the hard work that those guys have put in and over the last 4 years, and they're really starting to reap the benefits of their hard work, and so it's really cool to see it happen.
What's been the? Go ahead. Is that service? I mean, looking at their defense and how it's constructed, somewhat of a blueprint for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's a. I don't know if you want to call it a method to the madness. There is a clear vision of exactly what you're looking for with each spot. We went through it in Seattle with Coach Carroll. We went through it again in Jacksonville with Coach Bradley and Dave Caldwell and all them. So there is a vision. We'd like to think we have an idea. There is an element of luck to hit on some of those late guys, but I don't know. I'd like to say that the blueprint's already kind of been created. It's just maintaining your belief and conviction on what you see and know that works in the system and continue to build off that.
What has Blake Bortles been able to do well these last 3 games that maybe he wasn't beforehand when he was struggling a little bit?
It seems to me like Blake is playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. I mean, he's throwing darts. He looks very accurate. He's mobile. He's tall in the pocket. He looks lean and he looks in shape. He looks fantastic, to be honest with you. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. He looks really good.
Talk a lot about the rushing average. I think you guys are down to 3.8 now. These guys have run more than anybody in the NFL. Is your run defense looking at this as one of its ultimate tests?
You know what? Every week presents a new challenge. It's the number one run defense offense in all of football, and it's not just because they run the ball over and over again and they have opportunities to run. I think they're 6th in yards per carry. So they get after it in the run game. They're very physical in the run game. They don't try to trick you, which I respect a lot. That they just you don't know exactly what they're going to do run game wise, but they are very what's the word I'm looking for? They've got conviction in what they are in the run game, and they line up and they try to move the pile and win the line of scrimmage. And so I got a lot of respect for the run game and what they've been doing.
Deforest in his ankle.
He looks he's moving along, I should say. I shouldn't say he looks like anything, but he is moving along. Trainers have said that he looks good, so we'll see how it goes later on in the week.
Jaguars use their big tall guy, Calais Campbell, on the end. I mean, was that ever contemplated with Deforest putting him on that big end spot?
It was. There's a few guys. I mean, it depends on how you want to use it. You get Seattle uses Michael Bennett. You have Jacksonville had brought in Red Bryant, Tyson Alualu. Seattle also had Red Bryant for a minute when Coach Bradley was there. So there's different philosophies you could with Buck. I think he's really proven to be a really dominant 3 technique. I really do believe that. And so what we can do with that big end spot kind of frees us up to go get I'm not trying to knock Calais because he's a freak athlete, but to get a more of an athlete instead of just a pure run stopper.
Are these decisions, I mean, could you
Not to say that Calais is just a run stopper, obviously. Special.
14 and a half.
Yeah, he's special. He's special.
Is part of your process going to be in the off-season to evaluate maybe where he fits best and maybe experiment a little bit or create plans to experiment with Buckner maybe on the edge or moving some other guys around similarly?
We'll always evaluate. If I were a betting man, I'd say that Buck is a dominant 3 technique, and it'd be really, really hard to try to move him at this point. He's, I mean, he lives in people's backfields. He's dominating in the run game. He's setting edges, and it makes it very hard. He doesn't get cut off, so he's not slow-footed. He's really, really good at that 3 technique, and he's just an imposing figure in there. And you know, he would have 6 or 7 sacks this year if, you know, just luck of penalties and things that have happened to him over the course of the year. So he, in my mind, has had great production. He's been dominant. He grades out as our top D lineman almost every week. So where he is right now, if I were a betting man, I'd say he would not be a guy we'd want to experiment with.
Similar are Buckner and Campbell?
When you look at their body type, similar. I think they're, you know, from my understanding and what I've watched on tape, Calais kind of has that country strength to him. Buckner's kind of Buckner has some good athleticism to him, and he can get his hips flipped and all that stuff too. So their body type-wise, they're very similar. Haven't really studied Calais enough to really give you a true answer, but just from the outside looking in a little bit that I have seen him, it's going to be something that we will study to see if we can help Buck further develop and see if there's any just likes that we can create for him so he can get that image in his mind.
Boye was a guy who's, I know in the division that you saw on the other side. What are your impressions of him? Do you remember, and when he was a free agent this offseason, did you have any inkling to try to push for him to come in?
We studied it in free agency, and you know, I write up my report and kind of give it to those guys. So it's you'd like to have every single one of them. But Kyle and John and Adam and Martin Mayhew, they have a tremendous plan, and so they ask for our opinion. We give them our opinion, and they do a great job with what they're seeing on tape. So whatever they saw and all that stuff, I'm 100% behind. So.
Are you surprised at all at the success he's having this year?
No.
Like Jalen Ramsey's a versatile guy. Is he just that versatility? How useful is that in today's NFL with just the variance of passing games you'll see and the different types of targets that teams will throw out there?
Jalen, the one thing that makes Jalen tick is his mindset. He is a freak athlete. He's got freakish length. He's got freakish size. But what makes him special is he's a flat dog on the football field, and he doesn't play out of control. And if you let him, he'll try to embarrass you. That's what I like most about the guy. So he, but yeah, there's a reason why he was a top 5 pick. There's not many like him, and so he's got a chance to be special if he continues with that mindset.
Jaguars clearly have a good running game, but they've had some young receivers emerge recently. Their punt returner had a couple of touchdowns last week. Mickens. What have you seen from their weapons in the past game?
You know what Nate Hackett does a great job scheming up with regards to the pass game, and I'm telling you, Blake is putting the ball where only his receivers can catch it. He's throwing the ball really, really well right now, and his receivers are running really good routes. So they're, you watch that Houston game, guys were running wide open, and Blake was hitting them in stride. So it's a combination of the way Coach Hackett's been calling his games and scheming up, combination with you can include the O-line and the way they've been protecting, and Blake is standing back there playing with great confidence. So it's a little bit of everything, and they're young guys, so there's not a lot of tape on them, but they're stepping up and they're answering the bell. So they're very capable, obviously, capable receivers, and you never want to crown a rookie quite yet, but you can tell that there's great potential within that group.
Your assessment of how Brock Coyle has played since he became a starter?
Brock's been really good. He has been. I know he doesn't make the splash plays, and it was really cool to see him get the ball out on Sunday on Delaney Walker. But he brings a level of consistency, communication, and reliability to the defense that's vital in my mind. It's critical to be able to get the other 10 guys lined up, be comfortable within the checks, communicate what he sees, And so he might not make the splash plays that people on the outside are looking at, but on the inside, we have a great appreciation for the way he's been playing.
You said that fumble was forced by Brock?
They're still arguing over it. I think the stat sheet gave it to Brock, but
Okay.
I said it was a combination. It looked like Brock got the ball and Sheldon got the arm, so it a little combination for sure.
First start against Washington, he said, you know, the first half in particular was pretty rugged. It was coming right after Bowman was released.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of things going on. Initially, we were like, geez, this may not work out, and how, you know, regardless of that, how has he kind of settled down?
He settled down. Standard reaction, I guess, where you put too much pressure on yourself, and the only thing you can do is mess it up. That first half of the Washington game, he made it bigger than what it needed to be, and so when he got a chance to reset after the Dallas game, you know, we played Dallas and Reuben was back. He had a chance to reset from there, and since then he's doing what he did throughout OTAs and training camp to build all that trust. He's not trying to be superhero. He's just being Brock Coyle, and Brock Coyle is a really good football player.
He looks, going back to training camp, like he knew the scheme better than anybody right away.
For sure. He was being in Seattle, so he had great recall over everything. Sometimes when you get into the heat of the moment, you put a lot more pressure on yourself than you need to, and it does. It takes repetition, and for him, being able to sit back and reset has helped him immensely.
The decisive play on defense, I think it was 3rd and 2. You guys had to get the stop. I couldn't tell who made the better play. I know Brock was in on it, and Deforest, you can't tell on the TV film, but he also seems to have to push 2 guys back into him. Can you kind of take me through?
You know what? So the play that Tennessee ran, it was the second time they ran it in the game. That earlier in the year we were having a problem with trap. Dallas kind of gashed us on trap, and since then our guys have taken to. They're very aware of when teams are going to run it, and trap is basically a quick hitter on the 3 technique, pulling guard. But the hardest job in my mind is on that A-gap linebacker, because he's thinking power and he's got to get over the top when really he needs a trigger. And Brock recognized it the way he did. Buck did a great job and completely blew the whole thing up. But Brock triggered and pretty much put the seal on all the work that Buck did too. So it was a combination. It really was a combination of both of them. Real hard for the backer to trigger, real hard for Buck to be able to blow it up the way he did and see it as fast as he did. And it was really, really cool play, especially with the play that they ran, tried to run to get that first down.
Expecting some similar stuff from Jacksonville, given how proficient they are running?
I'm sure they'll have a couple of wrinkles in their scheme, but it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't matter. Its run game is all about mindset, and it's one man's will against another. So if we're sound in our alignment, if we're sound with our key, and we're sound with the way we execute and our gap integrity, we feel good about being able to fit their run game. And then from there, it's tackling and getting off blocks.
Traps, runs, you need to be particularly ready to defend when you have an aggressive, penetrating.
For sure. Yeah, So Buck, the big thing with Buck is he's been getting some good penetration. So it's actually a compliment when teams see you, when teams are trying to trap you, they think you're a penetrator. So it's a compliment to Buck in a way. It's a left-handed compliment, I guess. So backhanded, I should say.
Going into the offseason, do you think you need Reuben to change his body a little bit? I know last year he was obviously recovering from the surgery, but do you expect him to bulk up at all?
That's a tough question. I like our guys to, I like where he's at right now. He looks fast. He looks fleet of foot. The guy just, I shouldn't say careless. I mean, the guy just wants to kill people. And so sometimes he kills himself for a play. But, I mean, I don't know if he's 240, 250. I think you're going to have the same result. He goes in and, I mean, he hits the daylights out of people. And every once in a while he's going to get something where he might have to take a breather. It's been a while since I've seen someone who hits as hard as he does. So I think after a full off season where he can just build his body instead of having to rehab, eat right and do things the right way, I think he'll avoid some of those injuries and as he gets smarter in the game. But yeah, I don't know if bulk is gonna help with what he does.
He has an affinity for Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
Might be difficult to get him to eat right.
You know what? I texted him the other day when I saw that come out. Telvin Smith had an affinity for he has one. I mean, it's his pregame meal. And I was messing. I was like, "How you gonna play? You cinnamon toast crunch? That's my power." But must be a good thing for linebackers. They should all do it.